Alright, so this is my review for Ultimate Doomsday, which is written by Brian Michael Bendis with art by Rafael Sandoval. To sum it up in a nutshell, this is basically like after Ultimatum and they relaunched Spider-Man and the Avengers and all that stuff. This was kind of a 3 miniseries that they put together in a huge trilogy that kind of encompass off of what Ultimate Galactus did. The only difference being is that Ultimate Galactus is a much better story. And while this is not, it's kind of a halfway decent story, it's nowhere near as good and done as well as what Ultimate Galactus was. While Spider-Man and, the Avengers and there was that little X miniseries that they had, this focuses mainly on the 3 Fantastic Four members, the Torch, the Invisible Woman, and the Thing. And the story is just kind of, it's a build-up almost to nothing, which I feel I have no problem spoiling the hell out of the story. Basically what happens in the start of this is like there's this strange creature that shows up at the house of Reed Richards and his family. Reed Richards is like 21 and he moved back in with his parents after him and Sue had broken up. And it blows up the house and everybody thinks that Mr. Fantastic is dead. Well, come to find out, it's revealed much later on in the story after some crazy stuff goes down that he has become a bad guy and actually wound up engineering the death of his own family. And apparently he went somewhere inside the negative zone and started creating this new city. And this is basically just giving motivations for him to suddenly become a villain. You might think that this could be a new version of the Ultimate Doctor Doom. I might be wrong about that. But the story ultimately is just a big mystery, and then we wind up revealing that Reed Richards turned into a bad guy at the end of it. And it further establishes a backstory that he always was a bad guy, and he had like this crazy mad scientist intellect, but he held back from it because Sue Storm was always around and in love with him, and as soon as he broke up with her, his evil genius just started to take off much better because she was a distraction to him. And that's pretty much the extent of the story. And it's a very lackluster story to me in the long run. I mean, like there are some parts of it that I enjoyed. The stuff with Spider-Man and Spider-Woman was really good. And this kind of just also happens to be a transitional period for the remaining members of the Fantastic Four. Nothing really big happens other than the fact that Ben winds up declaring that he was in love with Susan the whole time, and he undergoes some kind of transformation into the ultimate version of Wonder Man. And Sue does wind up requiting the love back to Ben at the end of it, so there is that to enjoy. Nothing really big with the Torch is done other than the fact that he's just there, and this basically is, reading this just gave me the background motivations for why Reed Richards became the villain that I read about in the last issue of the Ultimates, which they've redone as well. There is some fun to be had in the story. I say the story does have a lackluster ending, but it takes so long building up to the mystery of what it is. The Spider-Man stuff, as I said, is really good. We get more screen time a lot with Spider-Woman as well, because she winds up paying a visit back to the Roxxon Corporation. And then there's this other aspect where she's winds up becoming recruited into S.H.I.E.L.D., and her and Peter have another brawl with Dr. Octopus, which is pretty cool. And then there's even this funny thing, there's like a bunch of these super geniuses that work for Doc Ock at the Roxxon Corporation that captures Jessica Drew, the Spider-Woman, and one of them just happens to be a 100-year-old old man that also is a Hulk. So there's some fun to be had with it, but aside from that, there really isn't all that much great happening in here. They do bring Captain Marvel back into this, but he's kind of down used as well. it's there's very few good things that do happen in the story. Basically, when you come down to it, it's just a quick throwaway read that you can find in a paperback. If you find this, I probably would just recommend picking it up in a library or just borrowing some back issues from a friend that already has them if you just want to read it that bad. Ultimately or not, this is just a throwaway story, nothing significant.